Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Let's get after it.
One evening, a man hears footsteps going down the basement stairs, but he knows nobody has gone down there, and this isn't the first time this has happened. So he rushes over to check and record what's going on. This is what he captures.
Oh my... What are you doing there? Who are you?
I got you good.
Oh yes you did. Oh, you got my heart good.
Suddenly, a toy ball launches towards the man unexpectedly, instantly startling him, causing him to react and shut the door and end the video. Although not much happens, it's that exact reason that makes this all the more creepy and mysterious. Just what could be lurking down in the basement? We may never know.
I don't have a way to explain that one, so I don't know if it's real or not, but I have to say, if you're going to design a room with intentions on making it as attractive as possible to ghosts, it would look just like that one. The wallpaper, the creepy dolls laying around everywhere, the long dark corridors scattered with children's toys that look like they're from the 50s. That room looks like a good place to film a horror movie.
Do y'all remember when Ford said this?
Mr. Ford, what advice would you give a young lady wanting to become President of the United States?
Well, I hope we do have a young lady at some point become President of the United States. I can tell you how I think it will happen, because it won't happen in the normal course of events. Either the Republican or Democrat political party will nominate a man for president and a woman for vice president. And the woman and man will win. So you'll end up with a president, a male, and a vice president, a female. And in that term of office of the president will die. And the woman will become president under the law or Constitution. And once that barrier is broken, from then on, men better be careful, because they'll have a hard time ever even getting a nomination in the future. But that's the way it's going to happen, and I think it'll probably come sometime in the next or 8 years.
It's kind of eerie looking back at that now with the current situation that we're in, where nobody's seen Biden for several days after he announced he'd no longer be running for re-election. I'm sure everybody here has heard the conspiracies around all that, so I'm not going to go into it, but that sure sounded like a premonition considering our current situation's appearances. Hey, if you're enjoying this video and you like this kind of content, I post a new one just like it every day, Monday through Friday at 3 o'clock. It would be awesome if you'd hit that subscribe button and come back tomorrow to join me.
Shortly before his death, President John F. Kennedy signed an executive order which was designed to strip away the power of the Federal Reserve. Kennedy was the last president who ever challenged the power of that Federal Reserve. One of the very first things Lyndon B. Johnson did when he assumed the office of presidency was reverse President John F. Kennedy's executive order, ensuring the Federal Reserve maintained its power over the American dollar. Now, the American financial system is designed with intricate policies and complicated language. It's designed that way to ensure the average American citizen doesn't develop a well enough understanding of it to better use it for their advantage. However, this animation does a fantastic job of simplistically breaking down the complicated structure of the American financial system and gives us an amazing representation of just what the Federal Reserve actually does. Check this out.
Exhibit A, those who have come to deposit and safely store their earned monies. Exhibit B, those who need to borrow said money for purposes unknown. Hey, that's me! Exhibit C, the bank only has so much money in the vault to lend out to people such as you. By the time he got to you, Pyle, his bank was out of money.
But he gave me lots of money and charged me a lot of interest.
Yes, that's the only way banks make money, by making debt loans. Debt equals money, Pyle. Remember that. Debt equals money. The more loans they make, the more money they make.
But if they don't have any money, then where did my money come from?
You're gonna want to take a step back, Pyle.
Whoa! No way! Wait a second, Hartman. I just thought of something. Then where does the Federal Reserve get their money?
Say, Hartman,
No one is allowed inside the Fed. Not you, not me, no American citizen, no duly elected member of our Congress, not the Supreme Court.
Not the Supreme Court?
Not the Supreme Court, not the Justice Department, not the CIA, DIA, FBI, ATF, ATE, NBC, not even G.O.D.
How come the government isn't allowed inside its own building?
Government. The Fed is a private bank owned by private stockholders. Do not let the name Federal fool you. This place is about as Federal Express.
A private bank? But private?
Shh. Best to keep your voice down, pal.
This is Ethan, Federal Reserve.
Hey, Ethan, Bill here, First National.
Hi there, Bill. How are you?
Good, good. We're running a little low on money.
No problem. How much you need?
Oh, how does 20 million sound? What?
Excellent. We'll ship it over first thing tomorrow.
Wait, he can just call up the Fed and ask for more money and they give him whatever they want?
No, pal. The Fed don't give the banks money. The Fed loans the banks money. The banks have to pay it back with interest.
Wait. I still don't understand. Where does the Fed get their money? I mean, if they're a private bank. You said they're a private bank, right? Okay, so who puts money into the Fed bank?
This is Mel, United States Mint.
Hi, ML. First National needs another 20 millis.
We're already running the presses full steam here, Ethan.
Gotta keep making loans. Gotta keep the money flowing.
All right, you're the Fed. Whatever you guys say. 20 million more by morning.
But I don't get it. What's so wrong about the Fed printing money?
Because it's unconstitutional, pal. Our Treasury is supposed to create our money, but now the Fed controls the printing of America's money. Nobody gets a friggin' dollar that the Fed didn't print. So, they print the money, then they loan it to the government, then they charge the government interest, then the government taxes you to pay for it. Wake up, pal!
God, I don't see what the big deal is.
You know, you're right, pal.
Wait a minute. Wait, I am?
Yeah. I forget how effective they are at keeping you ignorant.
I feel like finding out about the Federal Reserve is a starting point for a lot of people's distrust in the federal government. Just simply understanding the way our monetary system has been set up lays out so plainly right before your eyes that our federal government does not care about its people. I just wanted to show this for those who are not aware how we're controlled with money.
What did you say was the evidence that it happened 10,000 BC?
Well, the Giza ground plan, like we were just talking about.
The Giza ground plan.
Yeah, the alignment of the three stars of Orion's belt with the three pyramids, and the alignment of the Sphinx with its counterpart on the horizon, that gives us an astrological date of the age of Leo.
Yes.
And that happens to be right after the Great Flood took place, right? Through the melting of the ice sheets.
Between 12,900 years ago and
roundabout.
There's like a 1,000-year period there in the Younger Dryas.
Exactly, and this is again also when Plato tells us Atlantis was destroyed. But if you go to South America, the Mayans also say that the people who built these megalithic structures, the people of Quetzalcoatl, that the people of the feathered serpent, they came there after the Great Flood. That's what they say. And they started making these constructions there and teaching the locals agriculture and trying to restart civilization in various ways. So it also aligns with what the myths tell us. Now, my question is this. If you have that level of technology, why would you isolate yourself to Antarctica? Antarctica is a place that's completely isolated. Think about it, right? All the oceans of the world, the Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, Indian Ocean, they meet around Antarctica, and it's sort of hidden away from all the other continents of the planet to the extent that we did not discover it until like the 1800s, except of course it's on a few anomalous maps. The Piri Reis map and the Orontes Phineas map and so on and so forth. But we didn't find, in our modern Western civilization, we didn't find the damn continent until the 1800s.
Did they think it was safer there?
Here's what I think. If they were time travelers, they needed to isolate themselves from the timeline. If you were coming from the year 2200 or the year 3500, and for whatever reason you needed to reach back into the deep past of humanity, right? Let's say Earth suffers some horrendous cataclysm, or let's say they fought a war with an enemy that vanquished them, and their only retreat was backwards in time, to hide in time. You might be motivated by some kind of, noble intention not to mess with the human timeline to the extent that you can avoid it, and initially, you might decide to quarantine yourself to a place where you're not going to be observed by the other evolving societies on Earth. And Antarctica would be the ideal place from which to do that on this planet.
So I'm not even close to being on board with the idea of time travelers, but I do enjoy this theory, and it's not that often that we get to hear a new theory like this. I don't think it's true at all. I do, however, think he's correct on Antarctica being used as a hidden away location that an advanced race would likely retreat to. If there is an advanced race of people or beings that are living in Antarctica to avoid detection by the general public, it would so easily and neatly explain the Great Antarctic Treaty and why it's such a big deal to keep people from going there. I think he's onto something, but the time travel element I just think is wishful thinking personally.
Biden is the distraction. Lebanon is currently bombing Galilee in the middle of the night. Galilee is in northern Israel, where Armageddon got its name. Armageddon, the last world war that happens before the second coming of Christ, a biblical prophecy. All nations shall be gathered against Jerusalem to battle. The same battle described by Ezekiel called Gog and Magog. One thing that we are given by all of these prophets to understand is that when these armies come together in Palestine will be the day that the Lord is coming soon. An event of great importance to the world, so those with ears to hear will listen and be prepared. Earthquake will strike the earth, affecting the whole world, the greatest earthquake the world has ever known. Such an earthquake has never been known since man's foot was planted on this planet, probably the one that they're preparing for in Missouri. Armageddon signals the end of the world, which means evil is being defeated. But it prepares the way for ushering in the millennial reign of Christ. This reign could not happen without the widespread destruction of the wicked. And I know these are unpleasant things. These are unpleasant things for me to even stand here and read to you. But I do want the time to come where every man can live in peace. I love you. Hope you have a good night.
Armageddon signals the end of the world, which means evil is being defeated. I'm fairly black-pilled most of the time, but if I take a step back and just look at the big picture, it's easy to see that things are seemingly getting better. Corruption's being exposed in our government, the media's been exposed as a co-opted arm of the federal government, social media companies have been exposed as being in bed with the feds, and it seems like every plan the deep state tries to pull off here lately just explodes in their face. We are winning. There's just so much more ahead of us to get through that it seems like nothing is changing. I heard a theory the other day that explains why the machine built by the deep state isn't running so smoothly anymore. The theory states that the deep state machine is now being run by the children of those who created it, and they don't know how to maintain what their fathers built, and so it's all falling apart. I just thought that was an interesting theory.
The Daily Mail, citing an article in Forbes magazine, has a shocking story about FedEx using artificial intelligence-powered cameras installed on its trucks to serve as the watchful eyes of police departments nationwide. The private postal delivery firm has partnered with a $4 billion surveillance startup company based in Georgia called Flock Safety. That's what Forbes reported. Flock, well, they specialize in automated license plate recognition and video surveillance. And they already have a fleet of around 40,000 cameras spanning 4,000 cities across 40 states. FedEx has teamed up with the company to monitor its facilities across the U.S. But under the deal, it is also sharing its Flock surveillance feeds with local law enforcement. And it is believed to be one of 4 multi-billion-dollar private companies with this type of arrangement. Critics liken the move to rolling out a mass surveillance network, as it emerged that some local police departments are also sharing their Flock feeds with FedEx. Here's a short expose on Flock and its founder.
I want crime to stop. The year may be 2023, but Garrett Langley is talking like it's 1984.
I think by the time that my kids are adults, this will be a chapter in the U.S. history book where crime was an epidemic and it has largely been solved.
He's founder and CEO of Flock Safety, a surveillance technology company aggressively expanding its national footprint.
Do you envision a future with a Flock camera on every street corner?
I envision that, and I envision an America where crime no longer exists.
To Jay Stanley.
That is a little crazy, I think.
It sounds like Orwellian science fiction.
You'd be recording all of us, everywhere, all the time.
The ACLU's privacy and technology policy analyst warned last year that Flock is building a mass surveillance system unlike any seen before in American life.
It can reveal what kind of political events you go to, medical things, financial things, whether you're a faithful spouse, how often you go to bars.
We don't track people, we track cars.
As doorbell cameras exploded in popularity, Langley found they often weren't enough to catch neighborhood thieves. So in 2017, he built a camera that could read license plates.
We don't need a video. We need to tag them.
Cobb County, Georgia Police Chief Stuart Van Hooser was one of his first customers.
This is the single best tool I have ever seen in 33 years.
When his agency captured an active shooter in May,
technology played a huge role.
Van Hooser publicly credited Flock for the assist.
And that is a very new technology from a very young company right here in Atlanta.
The 6-year-old tech startup is already valued at $3.5 billion, and police departments across the country are lining up to join the Flock.
Who would have ever guessed that Skynet would be created with assistance from FedEx? You noticed how all those cops were giddy with excitement over this technology? That should tell you how effective it is. But I doubt they would be so excited about it if they were regular citizens having that technology turned on them. This is the beginning of mass surveillance in the United States. I just hope someone raises the flag on this one soon and gets a stop put to it before it gets rolled out across the entire country. Though by the sound of it, that ship may have already sailed.
This is the James Webb Telescope. Does it look familiar, guys? If you've been on TikTok in the past week or so, then you probably have seen pictures very similar to this. And if you're not sure where I'm going with this, take a look at this. This here happens to be a patent for the Sun Simulator. There's a video going around this week on TikTok showing this, the apparent Sun Simulator. In this picture, you'll see a close-up of one of the reflections coming off of the sun from a high-altitude weather balloon that looks awfully similar to the patent for the sun simulator, which also looks very similar to the James Webb Telescope. Could it be that they had us distracted so much with all these great images from space from the James Webb Telescope that they were hiding the fact that this telescope was actually the sun simulator? Now I'm sure all the NASA fanboys and heliosexuals having NASCasms over space pictures are going to have a field day with this. So tell me what you think in the comments. Could it be the sun simulator?
I don't know on this one. I just found that very odd how similar the sun simulator matches up with the James Webb Space Telescope. And we've been seeing videos for a while now with people seeing two suns in the sky. Could this be the source of that second sun? We need some data here. We need to find out, did all of these videos showing two suns in the sky come out after the JWST was launched, or do we have any from before that date? That would be a huge piece to the puzzle if we determine that all of those videos came after the launch date.
For the first time in Japan right now, diapers for adults are starting to outsell diapers for babies. The country's birth rate hit yet another all-time low last year, and estimates show that in less than 50 years, 40% of their population will be over the age of 65. Diaper maker OG Holdings announced last year that they would stop making nappies for babies and instead focus on ones for adults, and another said that their revenue from adult diaper sales is already double that of those meant for babies. And the thing is, it's not just Japan. Birth rates are falling in countries around the world, not Nigeria though, and by 2050, research from The Lancet shows over 3/4 of the world's countries will not have high enough fertility rates to sustain their population size over time. So if we don't go out with a bang, let's try not go out with a whimper.
There are people out there in positions of power who are vigorously working on lowering the population of the planet for whatever demented justifications they've conjured up. But it's not looking like they really have to do anything more than just wait. This is certainly a problem worldwide, and I just don't get it. Why aren't people having kids? I have 4 myself, and they've been the greatest part of my entire life. Why people would just choose to not have a family has always bewildered me. I know everybody's different and has different desires out of their life and stuff. I just think a lot of people don't realize what they're missing out on by going through life without ever becoming a parent.
How are more people not talking about what is happening in Bangladesh right now? Because it is actually wild. So this week, massive protests erupted across the country. So in response, not only has the entire population been placed under a curfew enforced by the military, but the government also ordered the closure of all universities and have completely shut down the internet and all mobile services to try and stop the unrest. I mean, can you just imagine if your government shut down your internet? That's a country of over 170 million people now cut off from the world. That's wild. And it's literally turning into something you'd see in a movie, because now they've stormed a prison and broken hundreds of people out. The government is being hacked by a group called The Resistance. And on the official website of the Prime Minister, it currently reads, "Stop killing students. It's not a protest anymore. It's a war now." What they're referencing is the 105 people so far killed in these protests, according to an AFP count. So you're probably wondering, what has caused all of this? Well, Bangladesh have a job system in which more than half of government jobs are reserved for specific groups. And out of the total, only 44% of them you can actually get hired for based on merit. And when you have a country where over 40% of the youth are neither working or in university, jobs really matter. Some students want this job system abolished, while others want it to remain, which is why things have turned so violent and words like civil war are floating around now. But the only reason I even found out that this was going on was because hundreds of you guys messaged me. And it's just crazy that things like this can happen in the world and you can just go unaware.
That was absolutely crazy. I had no idea about this until today. So the government in Bangladesh is actively at war with its citizens, it sounds like. I feel like this is headed to the United States pretty soon. Hopefully not, but I've never seen the people so at odds with the government before. It feels like we're going to hit a boiling point soon, and it doesn't seem avoidable. I don't know if that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing, but I can certainly see it coming. And I don't think for a second that our government isn't watching Bangladesh and taking notes.
Do you know where public schools buy their food from for lunches?
Cisco.
Bali. From the Department of Defense. The DOD? The DOD. It's a total scheme to where Department of Defense, they go out to these food companies and they get the contracts and then they turn around and sell it to the public school systems. They are in complete control over this profit line.
Oh, that's scary.
I think they said that the school lunches is the only thing that's profitable in public schools.
That would make sense.
It would make sense.
Yeah.
But like the school doesn't have a say in what they can get for lunch. They are totally dependent on the Department of Defense to provide the food.
Interesting.
It's just weird.
That
It's
is
like
super weird.
Department of Defense controlling the school lunches I thought was super weird. Just the man wanting to get some moolah.
Moolah moolah.
Or what are they putting in that food? Any type of freaking chemicals they want?
Yeah, man.
MK Ultra.
Brainwashing.
You know what the K stands for? Kindergarten.
Oh.
Dang. Middle school. M.
That's new information to me. It's just a great example of how deeply entrenched the federal government is in our school system. You are what you eat, and when you are at school soaking up the propaganda, you will eat what the government tells you to eat.
The scariest thing lurking in the woods is other humans. Grizzly Gaz is an experienced camper who is camping in a forest one night cooking dinner when suddenly someone creeps up on him unnoticed.
And I've got a visitor. Creeped up behind me asking me if I had a light. I shit my pants. This is Martin anyway. I don't know him, but he's stopping for a steak, so... just some random creep.
The stranger seemed friendly, but the camper quickly felt a strong feeling to get out of there.
The more I think about it, the stranger it gets. Fed that lad, talking about life and how he got to where he is and drugs and whatnot. And then turned round to cut some firewood up. When I turned back round, he'd gone, scanned about, and he was just walking off into darkness. So I said, see you later, pal. He went, yeah, see ya, and just left. The fact that he just left without saying no has put the EBGBs up me, because I've got to tell his mates there's a guy camping out with a load of filming equipment. I don't want to be having to fight off a load of smackheads at 3 o'clock in the morning.
That dude was 100% about to get robbed. Yeah, man, he's so lucky that he listened to his instincts, because it likely just saved his life. That guy that walked up was giving me creepy vibes right from the start of the clip. He's lucky. That sure could have turned out different. I'm just glad to see a video end well where someone starts off in a precarious situation. That almost never happens. But guys and gals, I'm going to go ahead and end the video right there. I hope you enjoyed these clips we watched together today. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. I hope you come back to join me. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and check out www.barry-stepp.com if you'd like to order yourself a shirt or a hat and help me support the channel. Also, don't forget to post your photos over your merch over in the Discord to get your photo in a video. But with all that out of the way, I hope everyone has a great, safe, fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow.